Rui Diaz saw the goalkeeper off his line and scores fantastically.
A goal of the season contender on Thursday night was swiftly followed by the weekend's full round of fixtures. We have all 13 games, including Rocky Mountain and Atlantic Cup rivalries. We begin at Lumen Field with the top two in the Western Conference.
Leading the way in the West, Seattle's unbeaten home record came up against second-placed Sporting Kansas City, who sat 5 points behind their hosts. SKC assistant coach Kerry Zavagnin stood in for Peter Vermees following a positive COVID test. Commentary from Phil Blacker.
Now Paulo standing over the free kick, assessing his options for Seattle, plenty of them in the middle. Cleared out as far as Atencio, this is Leiva to strike it, actually hit Yeimar with it. Montero goes for the ambitious, audacious effort, and it's matched by an equally fine save from Tim Melia to keep out the Sounders' record scorer. See, trying to apply the pressure high and might be able to reap their rewards here. Shelton helping it on. This is Johnny Russell. Leiva's challenge was a risky one, and he did catch the SKC captain. It's a free kick and it's a yellow card for the teenager as well from Rami Touchat. Would have been away. So Anzusi stand over it. It will be left for the skipper, Johnny Russell. It's a sensational strike for Sporting Kansas City. Caught it so sweetly and makes the breakthrough here with his second goal of the season. It is pretty special. Kellen Rowe. In possession by Kindu, got the block and it falls favourably for Kyrie Shelton with space to surge into. Still Shelton to Kinder, to Daniel Shallowy for 2-0 SKC. Clinical on the counter-attack. And this man doesn't miss many of those at the moment. 9th goal of the season for Daniel Shallowy. Only Raul Rui Diaz and Chicharito have more in MLS this season. João Paulo will read in which to work. And Kellen Rowe try and size up the cross, punched out as far as Baker Whiting, couldn't get his shot away, but Montero is there to pick up the pieces, and that might just change matters. Just the start to the second half that Seattle were hoping for as they try and preserve their unbeaten start at home this season. Third of the campaign since his return to the club for Freddie Montero. Rowe, involved against his former side, finds Rui Diaz in space. Oh, and he tried to chip the keeper. Melia got just enough on it. The midweek match winner almost at it again, going for the spectacular. Lewis Martins. No crossfield for his captain. This is Johnny Russell. Looking for options. Zusi in towards Cameron Duke, who scores with a first-time finish. How about that for an impact? He's only been on the pitch for a couple of minutes, and the homegrown player, the SKC substitute, has scored his first MLS goal, which might just wrap up the points, just staying onside to find the finish. Almost out of time. Have they got anything left here? This is Kellen Rowe with the cross, and it will reach Rui Diaz. Melia with a save and gathers it up gratefully. And deep into added time, that should do it. No way through for Rui Diaz today. It is a significant success for Sporting Kansas City, within 2 points now of Seattle at the top of the Western Conference.
Obviously, I'm very excited to get my first goal, but most importantly, get the 3 points away against a very good team. And yeah, we just got to focus on the next game against FC Dallas at home.
In third behind Seattle and SKC in the West were the LA Galaxy, who started brightly away to the bottom side, FC Dallas. Victor Vasquez narrowly off target for a Galaxy side still without its leading scorer in the injured Chicharito. In his continued absence, a young striker in Dallas colours would take centre stage, Ricardo Pepi.
A ball through for Pepi, and it's 4 straight home games. All aboard the
choo-choo train.
That took his tally for the season to 6, and number 7 would arrive before half-time. Decisive finishing to put Dallas 2 up. But Pepe had a special reason to make this a night to remember on the anniversary of his grandfather's death. Playing with a sense of destiny, the teenager would fire in his 3rd of the game, making history early in the second half.
Now Pepe, his 3rd, it's a hat-trick! And everything is coming up Pepe tonight.
With that, he became the youngest to score a hat-trick in MLS history at 18 years and 196 days. Dallas, though, weren't finished, with Hader Obrion completing a 4-0 victory. The team's best night of the season so far, and one Ricardo Pepi will never forget.
The Galaxy's neighbours LAFC, meanwhile, were at home to the West's second bottom side, the Vancouver Whitecaps, but fell behind 25 minutes in when Daiber Cachado opened the scoring. Colombian Christian Dahome was the creator, and then turned goal scorer himself as the Caps doubled their lead. Dahome dispatching his team-leading 6th goal of the season from Christian Gutierrez's free kick. But the momentum of the match shifted just a couple of minutes later, when Carlos Vela scored for LAFC for the 3rd match running. The goal was initially disallowed for offside. The decision then overturned on video review. Vancouver hadn't won in any of their previous 12 MLS away games dating back to last September, and weren't able to hold on to their lead in this one, as from Diego Palacios' cross, Jose Cifuentes continued his impressive season by volleying home to level it with a quarter of an hour remaining. A 5th goal of the year for the Ecuadorian. More drama was to come as the Whitecaps looked for a win before their long-awaited return to Canada next weekend. It appeared as if Dahome might have provided it here, only for the celebrations to be cut short by an offside flag, which went up against Gianni Obikel. He was found to be obstructing the goalkeeper, so visiting Vancouver had to settle for a 3rd successive 2-2 draw on their travels.
To the first Rocky Mountain Cup meeting of the season, which soon turned nightmarish for the Colorado Rapids goalkeeper William Yarbrough. Real Salt Lake hardly able to believe their luck as the ball slipped over the line. The kind of moment that's hard to dislodge from the mind. RSL needed no extra encouragement, minded as they were to avenge a 5-0 defeat to the Rapids last September. And soon they were in total control.
Wood on his left foot, yes! Bobby Wood! That's why they paid him the big money! What a goal! 2-0 RSL!
Wood's first goal in MLS gave a hint of his potential, but in the second half, RSL showed defensive prowess too. Ashton Morgan's goal line clearance keeping the score at 2-0, and Robin Fraser's Rapids at arm's length. But with 15 minutes to go, the Colorado defence left too much of a gap for Rubio Rubin.
Here's the ball for Rubio Rubin! 3-0! Jagger!
A highly enjoyable victory for Real Salt Lake, but a rocky night for Colorado.
Minnesota United had ended Seattle's unbeaten start to the MLS season the previous weekend at Allianz Field and hosted Cascadia opposition again in the Portland Timbers, who took a 10th-minute lead through Felipe Mora's fine header. That followed up Mora's late midweek winner against LAFC, and the Timbers' first-half lead was preserved when Alias Ivacic kept out Robin Lurd's effort. Minnesota had lost only one of their previous 9 MLS matches, a run which included victory at Portland almost a month earlier, and they showed why in the latter stages. Asani Dotson returned the ball after Emmanuel Reynoso's corner was only half cleared, and Chase Gasper levelled for the Loons, with only his second ever MLS goal. Minnesota now had the momentum, with the in-form Finn Lurd to the fore, but he was again foiled here by Ivacic, the visiting goalkeeper making just his second start of the season. Lurd and the Loons weren't to be denied. He'd scored the late winning goal against the Sounders last time out and repeated the trick 5 minutes from time after an oh-so fine through ball. It completed the turnaround against the Timbers to take Adrian Heath's side above their opponents in the table.
Our final game in the West saw Matias Almeida's San Jose Earthquakes take on Tab Ramos and the Houston Dynamo. Both sides out of form, but Ramos's men in position for a first win in 8, thanks to this from Mateus Vera. A first goal in more than 5 hours of play for the Dynamo, but their lead would last little more than 10 minutes. Zarek Valentin with an own goal deep in first half stoppage time. San Jose now sensing the chance to end their own winless streak. And with Carlos Fierro's free kick finding its way in, the first victory since May seemed to be theirs. But the officials had spotted an offside. Andy Rios at the near post, not touching the ball, but still affecting the game. And the goal would not count, to Almeida's obvious dismay. And the Quakes coach would slump further into his seat before the end as Fierro reacted to a foul challenge and was sent off for kicking out. The frustration perhaps of the disallowed goal, combined with the long wait for a victory that still would not arrive. Another difficult night for Almeida and San Jose.
And the misery piles on for Gabriel Heinze and Atlanta United.
After calling time on Heinze, Atlanta turned to Rob Valentino as their interim coach.
Pressure is a privilege, and I believe that.
Would a change in coach and the return of Joseph Martinez spark their season into life?
It's a goal! Atlanta have won it!
Or could the Columbus Crew extend their 5-game unbeaten run? Your commentators are Sam Parkin and Phil Blacker.
Valentino has made his intentions clear. Wants the side to take a few more risks, maybe play a bit more directly. And here they come, trying to heed the message with Moreno. Martinez helping it on, and a sight of goal for Jake Mulroney, just a fraction wide, and he will feel he should have opened the scoring with 90 seconds played.
It's an absolutely golden opportunity inside 2 minutes. Moreno so positive, driving at the heart of the opposition's defence. Brilliant awareness from Martinez, and on Mulroney's strong left side, got to find the corner there.
Lino was coming under pressure, but he's maintained possession. Now Wright Phillips. And there is the out ball. It's a good ball as well, perfectly placed into the path of Hurtado. And he can't quite believe he hasn't capitalised. Massive chance for the Crew on the counter. What a miss.
I don't think there's the gap there to slide it into the near post. Misses by a couple of yards.
Moreno was looking for Martinez. The chance, though, beyond him was for Lopez. Rome makes the save and had to. Came up big when required, as he often does for the Columbus Crew.
It's a wonderful stop. Built down the left-hand side. That's probably meant for Martinez, but it works out wonderfully well for Lopez, and what a stop that is from Maroon.
Time perhaps for one last attack in the half. Darlington Nagby for the Columbus Crew. To Pedro Santos. And then trying to get back to him. Santos able to wrap his boot around it. And the chance was for Marlon Hairston. Big chance right at the end of the first half.
Such clever play from Santos on the left-hand side. Picks out Hairston as well, and it's the right technique. He's just got to try and control it.
Martinez has won it well. Finds Moreno. Moreno, good effort. Equally fine save. And Rome had it covered.
You know where the ball's going to be bent towards as soon as Martinez finds Moreno on the left-hand side. You know exactly what's coming. It's whether Rome can get across there. Fantastic stop once more.
Whipped in and flicked on by Hairston. Mensah to try and meet it and force it in, and does just that. The skipper scores and the Crew lead.
Perfectly worked set piece. Teleroyan's ball to the near post. Hairston's job is to get that faintest of touches to take it into a dangerous area. Mensah's always going to be favourite. Slight deflection, but let's credit the execution of the set piece.
Defence standing firm so far. Best way to relieve the pressure is by capitalising on the counter. It's a rare foray into Atlanta territory recently. Miguel Berry holding it up. He's away from Walks, trying to squeeze one in, almost did so. Cam very nearly caught out on his post.
That's a tough angle, but almost executes it to find that near post.
Full-time score at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Atlanta United 0, the Columbus Crew 1.
I'm gutted for them because I think they deserve something from that game. I think they deserve to win the game. I think they deserved more goals than we actually got. We didn't get any, so it's just I don't know. That's frustrating for me.
In Foxborough, the New England Revolution paid tribute to club legend Paul Mariner ahead of the match with CF Montreal. The Canadians threatening on the counter-attack before the Revs had settled through Georgi Mihailovic. When the Eastern Conference leaders did click into gear, the goal they thought they'd scored was ruled out. After good work from Gustavo Bo and Adam Buxa, Carlos Gil was the man on target. But replay showed Bo to be in an offside position when the initial forward pass was played. It wouldn't take long for Bo to make amends. After Matt Polster's initial challenge, the Argentinian took over in spectacular style.
Gustavo Bo, driven, shot off the crossbar in! What a blistering drive from La Pantera!
A goal that would have had Paul Mariner purring in the coach's dugout or the commentary box. And Bo was buzzing too. Sharp movement and a telling finish. 2-0 to the Revolution with 18 minutes left, and 8 in 9 games for him. But Montreal's loss to New York City FC last time out had been their first in 7 games, and a goal from Mihailovic had them plotting a comeback. The twist they hoped for, though, wasn't in the script, as Sanusi Ibrahim's effort fizzed wide in stoppage time. 3 straight wins then for Bruce Arena's side.
That midweek win over Montreal had come at New York City FC's temporary home of Red Bull Arena. But they were back in the more familiar surroundings of Yankee Stadium for the visit of Orlando City. NYCFC were frustrated for much of the first half, particularly when Ismail Tajouri-Shradi was unable to force an opener beyond Pedro Galese. But the Lions' reprieve didn't last long. They'd gone into week 15 sitting second in the East, but fell behind in the Bronx 5 minutes before the break. Tati Castellanos played his part in the build-up before Jesus Medina produced the spectacular finish for his 7th MLS goal of the season, matching his return from the whole of last year. That provided the platform for a one-sided showing in the second half. Tajouri-Shradi had been the match winner against Montreal last time out and was at it again as City doubled their lead in stunning fashion 8 minutes after the restart. The home side were beginning to enjoy themselves, and the 3 points were all but secured thanks to a third goal, with over a quarter of the game still to go. Thiago and Castellanos combined to help create the opening for Maxi Morales to score his first goal of the season. Morales then turned provider himself as the fourth soon followed, playing the pass back into the path of Melder Amundsen. The Danish defender duly added his name to the score sheet as well, for the first time in his MLS career. In contrast, Castellanos had found the target in his first 4 appearances this year, but not since, until having the final say in the scoring late on with the 5th. 5 different scorers for NYCFC, who equalled their biggest ever MLS victory set against Cincinnati earlier this season.
Orlando's Florida rivals Inter Miami had tasted their own 5-0 thumping against New England in midweek, but nearly took the lead against the Philadelphia Union on the stroke of half-time. Robbie Robinson off balance at the crucial moment. But the home crowd were desperate for Miami to find their feet and end a run of 6 straight losses.
Robinson! And he's found the opener! It's a just reward!
The first home win of the campaign was now within their grasp and surely would have arrived if Robinson could have hit the target 2 minutes later, following set-up work by Gonzalo Higuain. But the momentum was not sustained and the crowd was stunned into near silence by a Union equaliser 5 minutes from time. Kacper Shabilko onside despite Miami protests and scoring for the third game running. The 1-1 draw, not what Phil Neville was hoping for.
Following on from a midweek goalless draw in Columbus, Nashville faced Ohio opposition again, this time playing host to FC Cincinnati, and taking an early lead as Hani Mukhtar found CJ Sapong in front of goal. The informed forward has had plenty to celebrate recently and was involved again in the home side second a little over 20 minutes later. The striker played in Randall Leal, who finished emphatically for his first goal in 2 months and third of the season. Sapong, though, now has 4 in his last 5 matches after making the most of Mukhtar's free kick.
There's the header, there's the third! It's CJ again!
Put the issue beyond doubt, although defender Dave Romney almost made it 4 before the finish, as Cincinnati's winless run was stretched to 5 games. Nashville, in contrast, are now unbeaten in 7 and still haven't lost at Nissan Stadium all season.
DC United and the New York Red Bulls resumed Atlantic Cup rivalries, and the home side struck first when Julian Gressel set up Ola Kamara.
Oh, it's in the net! It's in the net! Goal! DC United! Slam dunk!
Having put 7 past Toronto FC in their previous outing at Audi Field, DC looked hungry for more, and Gressel was the chief provider, crossing for Drew Skundrich this time. And the German's ability to see a pass was underlined again before half-time when he slid through Kamara, only for the striker to take too much time. Gerhard Struber's Red Bulls had enjoyed plenty of possession, but their only shot on target in the game came after the break from Christian Cáceres. With a single goal far from a decisive cushion, DC weren't truly comfortable, but they could celebrate moving above their rivals in the standings when Fabio's 89th minute effort flew wide. Both these teams need to push up the table to reach the playoffs.
To our final game, and 2 sides struggling at the foot of the East. The Chicago Fire and Toronto FC both started in the conference's bottom 3, but the Canadian club have been improving under interim coach Javier Perez and took just 2 minutes to go in front thanks to Jefferson Soteldo, the Venezuelan designated player scoring his 2nd goal for the club. Chicago had gone 4 home games unbeaten at Soldier Field prior to this and pressed for parity. Alex Bono saved from Ignacio Aliceda to thwart the Fire, who again had assistant coach Frank Klopas in charge, with Rafael Wicki still missing for family reasons. Next, Przemysław Frankowski teed up Robert Beric, who was unable to get the better of Bono either. The Slovenian strike met by a fine save, one of a club record 13 made by Bono in the match. Toronto, though, have conceded more goals than any other side in MLS this season, so sensed they needed the security of a second, and it duly arrived from Nick De Leon going into the closing quarter of an hour, the substitute opening his account for the campaign. The Chicago response was swift, though. Just a minute later, Bono was finally beaten by Alvaro Madran to leave the outcome back in the balance. The TFC held on to make it 4 unbeaten since their coaching change, the Fire claiming just 1 point from their last 3 matches.
That win for Toronto lifts them 2 places in the East to 11th, while Inter Miami remain bottom. Nashville are up to 2nd after their win over Cincinnati. New England have extended their lead to 7 points.
Victory at Lumen Field has moved SKC to within 2 points of Seattle at the top of the West. Austin FC were not in action, but they've dropped to the foot of the standings, replacing FC Dallas, who are up to 10th after beating the LA Galaxy.
At 18 years and 196 days old, we leave you with MLS's youngest ever hat-trick hero.
All aboard the choo-choo train, Ricardo Pepi.
A year ago today, my grandpa passed away, so it was for him, a very special night.
It's a hat-trick!
I knew I was going to do this, so all 3 goals were dedicated to him.
And everything is coming up Pepi tonight.
This copyrighted broadcast of Major League Soccer may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of Major League Soccer.